Baba continued. I can tell you my experience when I reached the top for the first time. It has been around half a century now, but I still remember that night as it was yesterday. Hearing this, Avatar rolled his eyes but let it slide to no more. It was a cold new moon day when I started my ascent. I was full of resolve and soon reached the base of the great mountain. There I saw a few people gathered about to start their climb. Some others had decided to take the other path, which was less dangerous but was too long. If you want, I can tell you about it. But for now, let me complete my story. So I started my hike from the base. I was in similar clothes as I am now. After hiking for a bit, I saw a large snake looking directly at me. I was taken aback as I was not expecting such a large snake in these mountains, but somehow I got hold of myself and kept a watch at it from a safe distance. I felt like I was stuck as I did not want to go back after coming all this way and I couldn't dare move forward because of the snake. I waited for him to leave my path, but it did not budge one bit. Then I tried throwing some stones at it, but no luck. I tried to find something to get rid of it, and I found a long staff lying on the side that most probably someone had left there. The staff was long, so I tried to scare it away, but instead it started hissing. Even though this staff was long, I was too close to an angry hissing snake for my comfort. Finally I realized that maybe it is protecting something. So I moved forward very slowly, and to my surprise the snake did not hiss at me this time. I wanted to check what it was protecting, so I gently moved the snake with the staff. The snake was too calm, as if it was giving me permission to do so. Maybe it sensed I did not have any ill intentions. After moving the snake, I saw a strange looking stone, very different from any stones you will find in this area. It was a nice smooth stone. As soon as I picked it up, I felt an undeniable energy emanating from it. I kept it with me and moved forward. The snake was also a few feet ahead of me, slithering towards the top. It was as if he was guiding me on my path. After going some distance, it stopped at another stone. This one was a little smaller than the first one, but it too was strangely energetic. I kept it with me and went on my way. After some time we came across the third stone. This one was smaller than the two, but my God, it was powerful. When I took it in my hand, it felt like I had the power of the sun in my hands. I wanted to take this with me as well, but I already had the two stones and I did not want to leave this one behind. I took off my cloth and kept all the stones in it and tied it to my back. Even though I was completely naked on a snow-clad mountain, I was not at all feeling cold. Maybe it was the energy of those stones that kept me warm. Soon I was almost halfway there, and to nobody's surprise there was another stone. This one was special. It was twinkling like a star. It had a nice soft calming energy to it. I put it with the others and moved ahead. From this point onwards the hike became very steep along a narrower path. I had to keep utmost focus. Had I not, I would not have made it alive. And to do that with the added weight of the stones made it tougher. After a point I just couldn't keep walking straight, so I started crawling on all fours. At this point I couldn't go back even if I wanted to. Soon, I found another stone on the edge of the mountain. It was not really clear where the solid ground ended, and the steep cliff began due to snow. I could have easily slipped from the edge because of the ice. The only way to reach it was to take the support of a small tree that had grown beside it. With no knowledge of how strong the tree is and if it can bear my weight, it just was too risky to take that stone, so I decided to leave it alone and keep moving forward. As soon as I turned forward, the snake had come inches close to me, hissing angrily. I was petrified. I thought I was a goner. I tried to slowly sneak past it, but it hissed harder. I tried to ignore it, and kept moving forward, until it attacked and bit me on the neck. I instinctively fell back on my bottom. I had certainly ignored the warnings. My heart was pounding so fast I almost got a heart attack. I fainted more because of anxiety than the venom. It took me some time to gather my senses after that. I don't even know for how long I was unconscious. Still in shock, I saw the snake staring into my soul. I had no other option but to get the blue stone. It really was slippery near the edge, so to get the stone I had to take support of the tree at the edge of the cliff. I had to fully stretch while holding the tree with one hand, yet could not reach it. So I tried to hold the tree with my feet and finally was able to get hold of it. I carefully came back to safety, and had a look at the mesmerizing blue stone. I added it to my sack with all the other stones. I continued my journey forward, but the snake did not join me this time. I was somewhat relieved, as I did not want to relive what had happened just a few hours back. The path kept getting narrower, until at the very top it turned into a narrow cave, which was almost covered by the roots of a huge tree. I had no choice but to enter the cave through the roots, so I somehow squeezed in. I could barely move forward. It was something like this tunnel, Baba said, pointing towards the tunnel in his cave. I kept going and soon enough it opened into a small chamber where I could finally stand tall. The chamber is where all the magic happens. It was a circular dome-shaped cave with a small dried-up pond at the end of it. I was not really sure as to what it was, as there was barely any light inside. I went closer to the structure and found an old dried-up pond with a beautiful lotus bud, completely frozen in ice. Was this the magical pond I was searching for? I asked myself with a little disappointment. Yet, I did not lose hope. Knowing that I am missing, I searched the entire cave, especially the dark corners, to find something useful but couldn't find anything. All this for nothing. Dejected, I turned to go back down, but I couldn't just go back, so sat near the tunnel. I did not find anything up there except that frozen lotus. Maybe it is the key. It's very rare to find lotus so high up the mountains. As I was in the middle of this thought, a water drop fell on the ground. I looked up, only to realize I was sweating. This was strange. I was on top of a snow-clad mountain and it was very cold outside. The cave offered some protection from the cold, but not enough for me to sweat, especially when the flower was completely frozen. Then it struck me. The stones! They had some kind of strange energy keeping me warm the whole time. I immediately removed all of them, and kept them in the pond surrounding the lotus bud. It was working but not as quickly. I wanted it to work as the lotus stalk was at some height from the ground. I tried stacking them on top of each other but it was still not enough to reach the bud. I had to carefully balance the stones vertically to finally reach close to the lotus. Now I had to wait. I slowly moved back and kept staring at the flower. It was now dark outside, and I could barely see the flower, so I went closer. The ice around the flower had now completely melted. Now the wait was for the flower to blossom. Even though nothing was happening, I just couldn't take my eyes off the lotus. And then in the middle of the night, it happened. It slowly bloomed. It was beautiful. I was elated to see the rare flower bloom. I was a little surprised to see a few drops of nectar oozing out of the flower. Some of the drops fell on the ground. I had the urge to taste the nectar, and so I did. It was the best thing I had ever tasted. I had to close my eyes to enjoy it. It felt like I was transported to a different world. It took me some time to snap out of it, but when I did, there was water in the dried-up pond. There was a small spring fountain showering water from the ground. I figured the stones must have melted the ice blocking the spring. I drank some water as I was thirsty for quite some time now. As soon as I drank that water, something changed in me. I was totally relaxed now. I just wanted to sit there for the rest of my life, never wanting it to end. I sat there till the sun was on the horizon. I crawled out of the cave to see a mesmerizing sun rise from the snow-covered peaks, towering above the clouds. All I could see was a golden hue of early morning sun covering a thick layer of clouds below me, painting it golden. It was like I was in heaven, where the earth, the sky, the sun and the moon had come together. I just sat there taking it all in as much as I could, until I saw the same snake staring at me from afar. I just didn't want to leave the place, but also wanted to thank the snake, as it was because of him I was up there. So I went back inside, took a large leaf, folded it into a cone and filled it with the refreshing water from the pool. I returned with the water and slowly showered some water on its head and kept the rest for my way back down. I could see it liked it, yet it kept following me. Then I realized I had not got its stone back. I went back into the cave, got back 3 stones and placed them at their respective places before coming back to base. Tahik. Well, this is my story. I hope you get an idea of what it's like to go all the way up, to tame the mountain. Abe interrupted Baba. Oh hell no, this is so not possible for me, even with all my limbs working perfectly. There has to be a better way. Baba continued. If you feel this is not your cup of tea, there is something much safer, but it will test your trust and patience. All you have to do is trust your friend here, or anyone who will come back safely to share a better path with you. Till then, all you can do is wait at the base until you feel ready to go. There you will find many souls like you who could not hike to the summit and came back, but had the resolve to try again. You all could band together until it's your time to try again. It will help you get your mind off the harsh outside conditions. One of the best ways to do it is by singing, dancing and praying for your friend to come back. You could also choose the longer path, which you could take with some others who want to take that path. The path is long, and goes through a pretty gentle slope from the other side of the mountain. This path is chosen by many, as you keep singing, dancing and praying along that path. But you will have to keep walking for a long time, crossing many dense forest valleys. Many times you might not be able to judge the correct direction. There is a chance you get completely lost and never make it back. You might even encounter a lion or a tiger while you cross the forest. But don't be afraid, as it can sense fear. If you stand there fearless, it won't harm you. Also, if you are in groups, there is even less chance of it attacking. But even that path is not as easy as it sounds. Many will leave the path midway due to fear and fatigue, but most will get distracted from the correct path and cease to continue forward. If you survive all this and take the right path, you will end up to a beautiful large lake. Just reaching the lake is a feat in itself. There you will find many who have been there for years, some succeeded and many who have not, yet decided to stay there forever. But this is not the end of your journey. You will have to find the lotus plants growing at the bottom of the lake. It is not as easy as it sounds. The lake is bigger and deeper than you have ever imagined. The best thing about it is its water is such that you will find it easy to float. But that also means it will become difficult to dive deep. If you don't have knowledge or someone to guide you, you might not go very deep. You will soon know why that is important. But you should be aware that there are some who could send you on the wrong path for their advantage or their lack of knowledge. You will need to find and take guidance from only the right people. I will tell you the story of my friend Prabhu who has done it. It all started when the man who guided him reached the shore. He saw many people enjoying the lake. These were mostly new who were experiencing floating with not much effort for the first time, some old folks just sitting and enjoying the view. While others were very seriously trying to find the lotus. He said everybody tried a different approach to find it. As everybody knew its general direction, some people went solo but most did not find any success for many years, as it is still a vast area. Some tried banding together in groups to cover the area as a team. He joined a group but didn't succeed. But after a few days he got lucky and found somebody who had succeeded in finding it. To be honest, it was actually him that found my friend. He did not give him many instructions but gave him a precious hint. The guy said to go down, look up, and to find light, extend your arms in the darkness. He didn't get any of that at the time. He thanked him anyway and took a decent-sized rock to increase his weight and started his swim. He reached the center of the lake pretty quickly, but even that was a large area. He saw many trying to dive in the same area. Although most were not successful in diving yet, they were still having fun. Just watching this, he felt a surge of energy. They even invited him to join them, but he knew he had to focus on the task in hand and kept swimming forward. After going some distance, he got tired, so he laid on his back and slowly kept moving ahead. Swimming like this, he could now observe the nice sunny sky. He noticed an eagle circulating on the same spot not too far from him. He deduced it must be because of the fish, but could these fish be close to the plants and other life? He was curious enough to find out, and knew where he should be too. It was a long shot, but this was still better than the countless times he had dived without a plan. He quickly reached the spot, and without wasting any time took a deep breath and dove as deep as he could. He soon reached the depths where not much light passed. This did not deter him, and he kept going deeper, until it was pitch black. He knew he would soon run out of breath. He remembered what the guy had said, and extended his arm, and suddenly, something grabbed his hand, and gently pulled him forward. He couldn't see it yet, but somehow had full faith that whatever is pulling him, will not harm him. Moments later he could see something twinkling at the bottom of the ocean, and he was getting carried straight towards whatever it was. As he got closer he realized that the entire lake floor was twinkling, and whatever was pulling him released his arm. He looked up, and before it could disappear in the darkness, he saw what it was. It was a white seahorse that pulled him to light. He quickly focused his attention to the lights. The entire floor was full of sparkling lotuses. He quickly grabbed one and pushed himself towards the surface. He wasn't even sure if Kanchan Senchu would make it, but at the same time he was excited to have finally found the lotus. Dachatu. He barely made it to the surface, took a few moments to recover, and saw the lotus in his hand still panting. All the efforts had finally come to fruition, and it was in the form of this majestic-looking flower. It was a surreal feeling looking at the beautiful lotus in his hands. He kept looking at the flower, as the water droplets kept sliding down it. He was still unsure as to what is to be done with the lotus, but he knew it had to be preserved and kept safe. As he was swimming back to the shore, in excitement he mistakenly squeezed the flower a little. He immediately stopped to check the damage. The flower was not damaged, but a strange juice oozed out of it. It looked like some kind of delicious honey, and he couldn't help but lick it. Everything seemed to stop for him as he did. All his excitement had given way to a state of light trance. He loved every second of it. He called it the best feeling he ever had. He slowly regained his senses, and he was still somewhat under its influence. He realized it was already evening, and the sun was just about to set. He kept looking at the beautiful red sun going down the lake, and an equally beautiful crescent moon, rising up the tall Himalayan mountains on the other side. He then checked the flower in his hand, but there was none. Maybe he had dropped it in his state of trance. He tried to find it. He noticed all his senses had heightened after the experience. He looked for it in all directions, but as it was almost dark, it was a difficult task. He didn't want to go back empty-handed, especially after experiencing whatever that was. He decided to come back again in the morning to find it. He kept looking for it, as he slowly started swimming back to shore. In no time he saw the same giant seahorse carrying away the flower. He quickly tried to grab it from him, but the seahorse kept holding its stalk tightly. He tried to get rid of the seahorse, but it seemed very adamant to not let it go. He raised the lotus along the seahorse as high as he could, after which the seahorse started to suffocate out of the water. Yet it would not leave the flower. Soon he realized what he was doing was not right, especially to the creature that guided me here. His conscience wouldn't let him see it suffering and replaced the flower and the seahorse in the water gently. He begged forgiveness from the seahorse for his actions and kept looking at the creature as it slowly disappeared with the flower. There went his efforts for many months, yet after leaving empty-handed he was not sad at all. In fact, there was a feeling of gratitude towards the creature. As he was heading back to the shore, he heard a sweet melody coming from his left. This was the direction where the creature headed. He had a strong urge to follow it, but decided against it, as he now needed to get back to shore, and thank the man that guided him. Soon, he did reach the shore late at night. Entire camp was now fast asleep. He wanted to wake everyone up and let them know the entire thing, but decided to wait till the morning. There was no chance he would have slept that night, yet he went to a large tree to rest till dawn. Right before dawn, he finally saw somebody coming towards the lake. He realized it was no other than the man who hinted at the path. Excited, he ran towards him, but before he could say anything, the man said, "So you were able to get invited, and came back unharmed. You indeed are a noble lad, or the horned horse would not have let you take you to the lotus bed, and certainly not let you come back had you not shown it a pure heart. Cherish this time, as not many achieve what you have. But remember carefully, never ever tell anyone how you got there. The best you can do is to give subtle hints to someone you know is truly noble and strong-willed. Rest you leave it to him and his destiny to find his worthy." He realized what the man said made sense, as he was now aware of the life-threatening experiences he himself had to face. The man continued, "The creature that leads you to your destination is the most dangerous part of the entire journey if one does not complete it, and tries to return midway after getting deep, so be very selective while disclosing this knowledge." Saying this, the guide knew his time there had come to an end, and he had successfully passed his baton. He smiled and continued walking towards the lake. The man, still a little confused, asked him, "Wait, how will I know who to select for this? And how will I find you again?" The guide, while still walking, said, "You will know in your heart whom to select. Just follow your inner voice as it has been guiding you till now. And for me, I think it's my time to move on to my final pastures. You must have heard the melodies while returning. I want to be there now." The man again sat down below the tree, contemplating the guide's words. Soon people started assembling towards the lake for their daily chores. He did nothing but observe everyone at the lake. Everything was pretty normal, and he was not able to decide exactly how to choose a worthy person. Then it struck him he could guide his friends to reach the lotus bed. He knew them very well, and even their abilities were not unknown to him. "I think my friend Prabhu has the best chance to get there. He is healthy, tenacious, and a true believer. He is also good at heart and helps everyone, whenever he is needed," he thought. He quickly began his search to find Prabhu. Soon enough he saw Prabhu coming towards the lake. He stopped Prabhu and asked him to come his way. As soon as he came close, the man repeated the same hint that he was told. Prabhu had no clue what he was saying. The man saw confused expressions on Prabhu's face, and couldn't help himself from smiling about the last day when he was on the other side. "This must be the expression on my face. No wonder that guide kept smiling." Trying to alleviate Prabhu's confusion, he asked him, "Go in the direction of the sun, and you might come back to the glorious sight of sun and moon if it's meant to be," he said, giving a pat on his shoulder. He started leaving after saying this, but was swiftly stopped by Prabhu. "What are you saying? Don't leave me confused like this. Did you find it, or is this some kind of a prank?" Prabhu asked with a hint of excitement in his voice. The thing is, you will have to find it out. Have faith in yourself, and embrace whatever comes your way, even the dark. This is all I can say, as telling anything more would be like not trusting your instincts, and I cannot do that. This is my time to go to the land of the melody. Goodbye, my friend, I have all the trust in you, he said. To which Prabhu questioned, what is this land of melody? Where is it? It is the realm of angels, where we always wanted to be. You will soon find out. But first you must begin your journey, where you will find the key for all your answers. This was the last thing Prabhu heard the man say before leaving. Prabhu took all his advice very seriously, and started his journey without wasting any time. He successfully completed his journey, and came back to the shore completely changed. Even he had heard the sweet melody on his way back, but he did not want others to remain unaware of such treasure and decided to go back to the base camp. This is where I got to know about the other path when I met him. He then went on to spread this story to the world. Abe was pretty relieved to hear this. It was exactly what he wanted. He immediately confirmed he will be waiting down at the base for Avatar to bring back the water. Abe requested Baba to let him wait for Avatar in the cave, as he did not want to hike till the base of the mountain, especially with his injury. Baba replied after some thinking, you are always welcome to wait here, but remember, it is always better to be as close to your goal as possible. You risk missing many chances that could come your way if you stay here. Many people try to climb the mountain, but only a few ever return, and to come back with the water is very rare. If somebody does return before Avatar, then you could be among the lucky ones that get it. Also, the base of the mountain has a great energy of highly positive people that can only be felt by being there. I would suggest you to be there, or at least try to reach the base. If you feel you cannot go any further, you can always come back. You think about this. We will meet tomorrow, said Baba, and went back to his chamber through the tunnel. I fix your sourire chef. Both Abe and Avatar had made their mind already, but still appreciated the time to soak and ruminate on the decision. After a long silence, Avatar came towards Abe to check his wound and said, much better now. I think tomorrow you can start moving your legs a little, but now take rest. We should think about what he said, and finalize something tomorrow. He slowly came back to his place and dozed off. Abe called Avatar to fetch him some water, but he did not respond. How do people sleep so fast? I could never. Abe mumbled and closed his eyes. He suddenly heard something which made him open his eyes. It was completely dark. Fire had doused. He called Avatar, but again no answer. He was a little sweaty and thirsty, so he opened the bottle near him, but there was nothing left but the last few drops. The sound that he heard a little earlier was back, and this time clearer. It looked like a growl of a wolf. A sudden chill went across his spine as he didn't know what to do. With all his efforts, he got up with the help of the wall, but it was so dark he didn't know where to go or what to do. He again called Avatar while trying to find a glimpse of light, but still no response. Finally, he saw a dimly lit opening quite far from him. He again heard the growl which came from behind. He started running towards the exit as fast as he could with his leg injury. But it was so far away it seemed like he was not any closer to the light. Even after giving his all, he was now very scared and wanted to reach towards light as quickly as possible. It felt like something was following him, and this increased his anxiety further. He suddenly tripped, fell down, and finally woke up profusely sweating. The fire was still burning and Avatar was beside him sleeping. This dream again, all this has given me PTSD. Don't know when I'll be fit again, Abe thought. He couldn't sleep after that, and kept thinking about what he would be deciding and what seems to be the right thing to do for him. Next morning, Baba came back with some fruits to see both of them still asleep. He figured the decision kept them awake for a while. He didn't want to wake them up, so he quietly kept the fruits near them and went back to his cave. After some time, Avatar woke up, checked outside, and the sun was almost overhead. He freshened up and came back to check on Abe, who had just woken up. Sleeping Beauty is finally up. It was the same for me too. I have never had such a sound sleep in many years, that too in a place like this, Avatar said, to which Abe replied, maybe for you, I was awake almost all night after a nightmare. Meanwhile, Baba came back just in time to overhear this conversation about the nightmare. Avatar wanted to know more about it and kept prying about it. Abe had no choice but to tell him everything about his dream. This event has had an impact on both of us. More so on you because of your leg, and it's understandable you feel stuck in the current situation, and I think it will pass as soon as you recover, and we get back home, Avatar said. Abe nodded in affirmation. Baba sat down near Abe, checked his wounds, and asked, the wound has not really healed much since yesterday. Seems you have taken quite a lot of stress about the decision. and as I hear lost sleep over it. Hope it will get better from here. So what have you guys decided? He asked, looking at both of them. I think I have made my decision to go up the mountain and take the path you took. I think I am naturally inclined to it, and also I have you to guide me through the intricate details as you have already done that. I had a feeling you would choose this path, Baba replied. So did I choose right? Avatar asked curiously. That depends on you. Your determination to get there will decide your success. It will test your focus, said Baba. He continued looking at Abe. Have you made your decision, Abraham? If not, it's better you reserve your decision till you achieve 4 things. 1. You are physically healthy. 2. You are mentally healthy. 3. You have knowledge of what's in store for you in this journey. 4. You are interested in taking this path. If you are prepared to be patient and like to be with a large group, I would suggest you go for the second path to the lake. It is less taxing on the body, and your group will help you along the journey. You can achieve answers for all 4 questions faster at the base of the mountain. For somebody who is focused and doesn't mind a dangerous solo hike up the mountain, can go try to reach the summit. A great man, Rumi, once said, "Yesterday I was intelligent and I wanted to win the world, today I am wise and I want to win myself." Similarly, to win over the mountain, you must first win over yourself, that is to have control on your emotions and actions under all circumstances. To help you with this, I will share a story with you, please listen very carefully. Both Abe and Avatar nodded in affirmation. Once upon a time there was a man, very righteous and pious. He had immense devotion to the gods and practiced strict religious observances. One day, while entering the river in the morning, he found a small fish stuck in the water pond he used. The fish looked sick, and he wanted to save its life. Manu put the fish in a jar. However, the fish grew rapidly and outgrew the jar, so he transferred it to a larger vessel, then a pond, a lake, and eventually the ocean. The fish thanked him for saving its life, and informed Manu about an impending catastrophic flood that would destroy all life on Earth. It instructed the man to build a massive boat, an ark, and gather samples of all species of animals and plants to preserve life. Man tried to warn others, but they didn't believe it could be true, and even ridiculed him. But the man diligently followed these instructions and embarked on the boat with very few people that believed him. He also brought along as many animal pairs as he could. As the floodwaters rose, the boat floated on the vast ocean along with the divine fish, which served as the vessel's navigator in the rough sea. During the deluge, man meditated, seeking Lord's protection and guidance. When the floods subsided, the boat rested on the top of a mountain, and Manu and the living beings disembarked to live in peace and harmony. After hearing this story, Abe quickly replied, "I know this story already. This is very similar to the story of Noah and his ark," to which Avatar responded, "I know this story too. This is the story of Vishnu's first incarnation. But why did you want to tell this story? How will it help us?" Baba smiled and said, "It's good that you know this story already. You tell me, what did you get from this story?" Abe answered, "It is to be good, believe in God, even when others don't, and you will be rewarded." To which Avatar replied, "Sorry, but I don't believe in these fairy tales. I mean, there was a time when these stories were useful to get men to be good, but we have better systems in place for that now. I don't see any logic in such stories, to be honest." In ancient Indian mythology, we come across a set of stories of 10 avatars. I am sure you must be aware of the stories. Abba replied with all excitement. "Of course. It's kind of my specialty, really. Ancient history and mythology is what I teach in my class. It is the first story among many about important forms. 1. Fish. Matsya. Lord Vishnu takes the form of a fish to save humanity from a great flood. He guides a righteous man named Manu, and preserves all living beings by rescuing them on a boat. 2. Tortoise. Kurma. Vishnu becomes a giant turtle to help the gods and demons churn the ocean to obtain the nectar of immortality. He acts as the foundation to support the churning process. 3. Boar. Varaha. Vishnu appears as a wild boar to rescue the earth goddess, Bhumi, from the demon Hiranyaksha. He defeats the demon and restores the earth back to its rightful place. 4. Half man, half lion. Narasimha. Lord Vishnu takes the form of a man-lion to protect his devotee, Prahalada, from his demon father, Hiranyakashipu. He kills the demon by appearing at dusk on the threshold of his palace. 5. Vamana, dwarf. Vishnu, incarnated as a dwarf sage, Vamana, to restore balance in the universe by curbing the power of the mighty king, Bali. He asks for 3 steps of land and then grows to cosmic proportions, covering the entire universe in just 2 steps. Mana. 6. Parashurama, warrior monk. Vishnu becomes Parashurama, a warrior monk with an axe, to eradicate evil kings from the world. He is known for slaying numerous tyrannical kings and restoring peace. 7. Rama. Vishnu's 7th avatar is Rama, the noble prince of Ayodhya. He embarks on a journey to rescue his wife Sita from the demon king Ravana, with the help of his loyal devotee, Hanuman. Rama upholds righteousness and defeats evil, symbolizing the triumph of good over evil. 8. Krishna. Lord Vishnu, incarnated as Krishna, the divine cowherd and master of multiple traits, guides humanity through the epic tale of the Mahabharata. Krishna imparts spiritual wisdom through the Bhagavad Gita and performs miraculous feats, teaching people the importance of righteousness and devotion. 9. Buddha. In this unique avatar, Vishnu appears as Gautama Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Buddha teaches compassion, non-violence, and the path to enlightenment, spreading his message across the world. 10. Kalki. This is the final avatar of Vishnu, which is yet to come. Kalki is prophesied to appear at the end of the current age known as the Kali Yuga, to restore righteousness and bring about a new era of peace and harmony. These 10 avatars symbolize different aspects of Lord Vishnu's power, and serve various purposes to protect the world and maintain cosmic balance. Similar stories are popular in civilizations all over the world. This must mean something and maybe it's true. To which Avatar replied, "You really believe in these stories? Grow up, Abe. You just want it to be true, and hence find the smallest of reasons to support your beliefs." Abe, knowing Avatar's atheist views, ignored him and asked Baba, "But why did you tell this story? I'm sure there must be a reason behind this, a lesson maybe." Baba smiled and said, "Yes, you were partially right, but these stories have many layers to them. Each layer of messaging is for a different target audience. As you know, these stories are written by ancient sages and monks in their monasteries, where they would also teach many students of different age groups, right from young children to adults. Hence, these were introduced as fun stories to children, and successively based on the students' capabilities and nature, deeper layers were revealed to them. For this story, what you said is only one of its layers. These stories also represent the evolution of life and man, right from fish to amphibian, to less intelligent but powerful hogs, to smarter and powerful lion, to small man, to emotionally charged man. Then came a prince with strong principles, and then came a prince full of creative talent and knowledge, to finally a spiritual master like Buddha. There is one more layer to first form for deep thinkers. The fish represents a normal person like us. It kept on increasing and exhausting its space and always was hungry for more, until it reached the ocean again. Also, the water represents emotions, so this story represents that due to our emotions we become greedy and short-sighted, which eventually leads to our demise. It represents the world where fish eats smaller fish. One way to avoid this flood of emotions is to be benevolent, kind, and have faith that if you are able to storm through your emotions and do what's right, you will be in a better place. Avatar responded, That's interesting, but I don't see anything that I already knew apart from water meant emotions, and the fish meant person submerged in his emotions." To which Abe said, "Yes, it wasn't revolutionary, but still a new information that I could use in my research, and I am now interested to know what the next avatar represents." Baba wasted no time, and continued with the story of the second form. This is one of the most important stories which is repeated multiple times in ancient Indian texts. People were generally divided in 2 groups, good guys called Devas, and bad guys called Danavas. Both wanted to be immortal. They also got to know how to get the elixir of life. It was located deep inside the ocean. They had to churn the ocean to extract it, and for that they used a large, strong mountain, and to hold it they used Shiva's snake. They still needed somebody to keep balance. Hence God took a form of turtle, to give support and balance to the whole structure. Bad guys, that is Danavas, took the head of the snake, and good guys, that is Devas, took the tail, and the churning started. A lot of time passed and many good things kept coming out of the arduous churning. Everyone had to accept whatever comes out of the churning, and so everyone did. The elixir was still nowhere to be found. As the Danavas were near the serpent's head, the poison from the snake's head kept slowly harming the Danavas. Yet they kept at it as they could not let go of this golden chance. Suddenly a great poison came out and nobody dared to accept it, as even touching it meant certain death. But then Shiva came forward and drank the entire poison and stopped it in his throat. Everyone was relieved and the journey started again. Finally, after all the hard work, the elixir appeared. The Danavas didn't want to share it with anyone and stole it. Devas couldn't let this happen, and followed them until they caught them. And eventually got the chance to drink the elixir. While Danavas got nothing out of it because of their greed and lust. Avatar replied, "After hearing this story a millionth time, I think I finally understood what this story wanted to convey. Of course I knew Devas were the good guys and had to win like in every ancient story. But it seems like this elixir that they were fighting for is nothing but the fountain water that we are after. I am no expert here, but even I know there is a lot of symbolism here, which was used by many other civilizations around the world. The mountain, the snake and the quest for immortality are probably the most common goal since ancient times for humanity, apart from religion and finding God." Abe had to jump in. "Yes, you are right. Right from the story of Zozu up the mountain, to pyramids that are found in Egypt and Americas. Also, the snake is an important part of many stories like the Genesis. I believe either every civilization was connected to each other even more than thousands of years ago, or they knew something that we don't know now. This makes me really hopeful of finding something up the mountain," Avatar added, "unless he is bluffing, of course. But we still need to know what the second story is all about according to him." Baba smiled and said, "Devas is a Sanskrit word which loosely translates to givers, while Danavas is non-donors. So the story is really about the selfish versus the selfless, where both come together for a common goal and work equally towards it. They took the head of the snake, which also represents selfishness, for better grip, but it ended up hurting them. On the other hand, Devas took the tail of the snake, which represents selflessness, gave up many good things that came from the churning, as this was not their goal. This demonstrates their ability to focus on their goal and not get distracted. If you become selfish and don't keep your end of the deal, you will end up empty-handed as the Danavas." Now the second form is turtle. This form represents a person who has the ability to get beyond his emotions, by looking at himself from an outside perspective. Also, as a turtle goes inside its shell, a person should be able to introspect for solutions. Such people will become mentally stable. Avatar realized where this was going, and said, "Ah, I got it now. You want us to imbibe these qualities of avatars in us before we start our journey. You want us to be kind, focused and giving like Devas, slow, steady, mentally stable like a turtle." Baba smiled and said, "You are a quick study. Let's move on to the next form, Boar. Here the person is now out of the ocean of emotions and ignorance. As in the story, this form keeps getting larger in size to save the world from going underwater by carrying it to its rightful place. He now is strong physically and selflessly thinks about the world and does not shy away taking responsibilities of not just himself, but everyone in his world. Interestingly, word Varaha is also used for bull. The fourth form, lion, which represents valor, leadership, aggression. The story goes like this. Once, a Nastic, that is a very powerful king, Hiranyakashipu, had a Nastic, that means a believer's son, who was a true devotee of God, which he did not like. He wanted everyone to only praise him, as nobody matched his power. The king tried everything to make his son Nastic like him, but the son did not bulge and kept on his religious ways. The king got so frustrated he even tried to immolate his son when he saw him praying. However, the son, undeterred by the heat, kept praying. And miraculously the person igniting the fire started burning and died, but the son came out very hot. Looking at this, bystanders started cooling him by pouring water on him. And to everyone's surprise, he was totally unharmed. This is how the festival of Holi got into practice. But this angered God very much, and God took the form of a half lion, half man, emerged from the right pillar behind his throne, took him to the door and killed the king. We have a lot of messages here. First is to never be arrogant of your power and position, as it can end any time. Second, to be an astic, i.e. believer, and always remember in God to be safe in any situation. I am sure you would have remembered God when the mountain was falling behind you. Baba smiled. Abe replied, "Oh yes, I sure did. Even when I was in darkness." To which Avatar quickly responded, "You see, I did not pray in that situation at all, yet I made it safe, but you have a hairline fracture, and bruises all over your body. What good is God then? Abe got serious and replied, honestly, I have prayed every day since my accident. You have maintained your fitness very well, Avatar. And it was your past efforts, your karma that saved you. But this was not the case for me. It's only a miracle that I am not lying in a snowy ditch but here with just some bruises and fractures with 2 people caring for me in the middle of nowhere. Avatar had no reply to that. Abe further continued. After what we have been through, I am sure there must be a time when you must have felt helpless, and hoped for even the smallest help. Avatar was immediately taken back to the time when he was stuck in the cave and he thought he had lost Abe after the stick broke. All he could do was to look up and scream. I understand what you are saying, it gives solace, but in my heart I cannot trust something just because it feels good. I also want to believe the president of the country is the best, most honest person, but we all know how true that is. All I am saying is I am the type of person who has to see it to believe it. Baba added to this. Also, if you think about it, yes, you were saved even without you being very fit, but you made a fit friend who would do everything to save you. Isn't that your karma too? Yes, but you getting through that storm without any life-threatening injuries and us being able to find you in time isn't short of a miracle, really. After a short pause, he continued. Until lion form, all previous forms are animalistic in nature. Like the lion form found it hard to control its aggressive nature. The next form, a short man, the story goes like, a pompous, powerful king comes across a short monk. The king was in the middle of a ritual, where he had to donate after the end of the ritual. He asked the monk for whatever he wished, and the monk replied, he didn't wish for anything. But he insisted that he was the most powerful, and could give him whatever he wished for, so the monk asked for 3 steps of land. The king laughed at his wish, and granted him his wish. But as the monk was divine, he enlarged himself so much that the entire world got covered in just his 2 steps. The king, however pompous, he was still a man of his words. He realized it was no ordinary monk, but Vishnu's avatar. He asked the monk to keep his last step on his head, and the monk obliged and ended his reign. This shows to be humble at all times, but when needed you need to be large at heart and crush the pompousness within, else it will end up crushing you. The next avatar was Parshurama, which is the first full human form if you notice. He was a young sage living in a jungle who killed his mother on the orders of his father because of her attraction for a king. He also took his 4-edged axe and killed all the greedy and atrocious kings to avenge his mother. But on another level, the story goes something like this. Devi Renuka, under the active guidance of her rishi husband, evolved spiritually into a goddess. She did intense sadhana and practices over years, overcoming all temptations and weaknesses to evolve spiritually from a human to God. Due to her spiritual evolution and purity, Lord Vishnu descended to earth in the form of Lord Parshuram as her son. When she finally attained godhood, she wished to be worshipped as Devi Renuka, by semi-evolved humans, spiritually, and Devi by unevolved humans, who are more at their body-mind level ignorance. This is the reason Lord Parshuram cut off her head, so that a new head of Devi could manifest. Of course, cutting off is a symbolic term here. The next avatar is King Ram of Ayodhya, one of the most popular and important forms till today. As Ram displayed all the ideals of a man for every relation, like brother, son, husband, and most importantly a leader. Ram is incomplete without his brother Laxman and his wife Sita. He was such a great leader that whenever people traveled to different kingdoms, only taking Ram's name could resolve all their problems, as he was so well respected. People still chant Rams till this day, as they say it is even more powerful than the man himself. It gives them energy like no other chant. Ram's story was that of love, honesty, duty, discipline and sacrifice. No wonder he is said to be from the descendants of Sun. But I think you know this already. Abe jumped in. Oh yes, I think this is the most popular form of the ancient world. The story is very much popular in almost all the ancient civilizations, be it Egypt, Southeast Asia, or even on the other side of the world, that is South America. Many later kings had similar names all across the world. The next avatar was Krishna, which showcased even more artistic talents and diplomatic skills, along with leadership skills. Of Krishna's multiple stories, the ones of him defeating Kaliya the giant snake, him saving all his villagers from ferocious rainstorm by lifting the mountain, and later guiding the 5 princes in the greatest war of the time to victory, are just a few. But he will mostly be remembered for his true love with Radha. So much so that even today his name is often taken after her, that is, Radha Krishna. Due to all these qualities, he was also called descendant of the moon. One interesting fact about her is that the word Radha is the opposite of Dara, which means a stream/flow. So Radha means the one who goes against the flow, a breaker of molds. Next avatar was Buddha. In this form, Buddha gave knowledge of acceptance of life, as it comes to achieve balance, peace and happiness, through meditation, non-violence and spirituality. He emphasized on donation and minimalism. The last avatar is that of Kalki, which is said to take form before the end of the world as we know it. This form will fly on the unicorn with two swords swinging continuously, ending all the sinners. Hence, select few noble men on this path of truth and nobility will remain to recreate the world for a better, more sustainable future. And you know what will help you enter the new world? Yes, you must finish your journey to the fruit and fountain. Avatar just couldn't stop himself from saying it again. Don't you get it? These are stories that are people from different eras created to make regular people follow ethics and morals for society to function. And the most hilarious part is if these stories are not true, how we could believe your story of reaching the fountain. Baba replied, I don't ever lie. But why should we believe you? It really hurts me when I lie. It hurts my soul, Baba replied. Interesting, Avatar exclaimed. What? Abe asked in perplexity. Avatar asked Baba about why he said that, to which Baba replied, because it's true. Every time I lie it pains me like there's a new scar on my soul. Avatar had a slight smile and expression of disbelief. On further inquiry from Abe he said, I mean medically speaking, he is not wrong. When we lie about something, our brain sends the same signals as it would send for a cut or a bruise. I mean there will be no difference in your brain's response if I poke you with a pin or an injection, or if you just lied. You know, lie detector machines work on a similar principle. And people who are able to trick it are mostly psychopaths, for whom we say they have no souls because they don't feel a thing. And I think Baba can sense this on his own. Abe got up from his spot. Interesting, maybe it's because of the flower. It not just slows down your aging, it also gives you these super senses. Avatar continued. But this does not answer my question. Why? It is said that most of these scripture are written by a poet called Ved Vyas. How can one person write so many scriptures in one lifetime? It's definitely many people writing it for many generations. Abe jumped in. Actually I can answer that. It is the name of one poet. It's actually a title made of Veda, which means divine knowledge, and Vyas meaning creator. So every great saint that created any such divine scriptures is a Vedvyasas. Avatar said, okay. That sounds believable, but I still don't get any divinity in what was said. Morality and ethics, yes, but not divinity. Also, his personal story of climbing up the mountain is also awfully similar to all the previous stories, with same characters and symbols. Even his story about Prabhu's story seems like it's been inspired from the Epic of Gilgamesh, where the king travels through various obstacles to a lake to find a magical lotus at its bottom. Hence it's hard to believe him really. Abe replied, it could also be that either all of these characters have come here with the same source story, or in every era there were people who stumbled upon this flower, which may be found in different parts of the world. Avatar replied, even if the source is the same, there are so many differences that it's exactly the opposite sometimes. Let's not go very far. Even in Abrahamic religions there are major differences, like one prohibits alcohol, while others endorse some form of it. While Christianity allows pictures of Jesus, others strictly prohibit it. Even if you compare Hinduism with Buddhism and Jainism, which are mostly agnostic, some of these religions have a concept of heaven and hell, while some have that of liberation. Also that, every soul gets a total of 7 lives while some only believe in the afterlife. Baba stopped Avatar's rant by saying, well, I can answer these questions for you and many more if you give me a chance to reply in between. But I think you needed to vent out. Baba smiled and said, all religions say the same thing. All you have to do is what is the perspective that is used. You see this twig lying down. It has no life now, it's just a piece of wood. Now tell me what is more valuable, this wood or the gold ring you are wearing? Avatar replied. Of course the gold ring, no questions, gold is very rare, you can ask anyone in the world, they would say the same. Baba replied, you are quite right, but if I say based on your criteria, this wood is more valuable as it's much rarer to find a piece of wood in the universe. As you find gold in many planets, but this wood is only found on our Earth. The answer changes when you expand your perspective. Doesn't that make us both right, even if our answers are completely opposite? And to know the answer to your questions you must first know yourself and know what you are. Ask yourself, who am I? Are you Dr. Avatar from India? But will you stop being you if you stopped practicing medicine, or changed your country, or even your name? So if this is not you, then what defines you? Your clothes, your style, your appearance? Or is it your choices? Ask yourself, if I change these things, will I stop being me? If you say you are your body, then if I cut your arm or a leg or both, will you stop being you? If you keep eliminating like this, you will find the answer. Avatar replied, I am my body and mind, as without them both I could not be me. Abe replied, I think I am body, mind and soul. I feel there is my soul, that controls my body and mind. It is a part of both my body and my mind, but still separate from it. Baba smiled and continued. Coming to your question of how many lives does a soul have? Well, it depends on you really. It is where your soul is in its journey to reach the final destination, which is liberation from the cycle of life and death, and eventually, in your last life after liberation. It is to go to heaven in the afterlife. Avatar quickly replied, you know, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. It's a funny thing, isn't it? Abe, looking at Baba, said, ignore him, so you don't agree with the popular concept of just 7 lives. There are so many festivals in different cultures to celebrate marriage for not just current life but for all 7 lives, as they believe marriage is a union of souls for eternity. Baba smiled. Yes, 7 is a special number indeed. To understand that, we will have to check what other great people have said about it, and who better than Lord Buddha himself? What he said was, the journey of a soul looks like a stream of water, but if you look closely it is a collection of drops. Did you get it? Think about it, he said, looking at their flummoxed faces. Avatar, after taking his time, replied, so he was saying it's not that one soul travels through various lives, but various lives continue the same journey. You mean Abe's son has Abe and his wife's soul? So it's an ancient way of saying you pass on your genetic code in the form of DNA to your next generation. And one keeps on living through their children and mostly living similar lives until someone eventually breaks the chain and attains liberation. Makes more sense to me now. And as after your 7th generation your part goes below 1%, it's insignificant. At least I am sold on this one. Abe said, I am not. Although it is logical, but I will reserve my judgment on this for now. You still have the biggest challenge ahead of you. Some religions believe in polytheism. Some believe in one God and some are agnostic. Baba smiled and replied, well, there is a small difference. Multiple deities are a little different from gods. Remember I told you about devas, which means givers. In many ancient cultures there was a belief that one should always try to be a giver to improve your good deeds. And anybody that you interact with gives you something, it's knowledge, good feeling, or even valuable lessons. Avatar jumped in to ask, what if it's my pesky relative always asking me for money? Well, then he is giving you a chance to be a giver or deva. You know, this is the fastest path to nobility. Remember one thing, on this path you should strive to be a giver and avoid being in someone's debt as much as possible. It's not just loans or monetary gains, but everything that you get from someone puts you in their debt. You have to repay something in return. If you can't repay, you have to at least show some respect and gratitude. But the trick is to not expect anything in return. Even if you are expecting praise for your good deeds, it only counts if it is selfless. You will not succeed in this path if you become selfish. You tell me one thing. Who do you want to be around longer? Somebody helpful or someone selfish? It's the same with the universe. The most beneficial things stay longer. Some of those tall trees outside are even older than me. When you give, you become lighter, and when you take, you become heavier. When you give selflessly, the universe will repay back many folds. It's the law of karma really. Whatever you do will come back to you many folds. Hence Jesus said, do unto others only what you would like others to do to you. The most successful people are all givers first, and get rewarded later. It's not just about other humans but with everything. Your pet gives unconditional love and happiness, hence we want to be around them more. Our environment gives us everything we need. Such as the sun gives us light and energy to most life of the world. It's not just that plants need it to survive, sun is also the source of our energy directly. Without it you will not be able to create vitamin D, which could lead to low energy levels and even depression. Hence, when someone has high energy we say they are beaming like the sun. Similarly for the moon, while the moon gives us light at night, and a calming energy, It also is responsible for our emotions in a way, hence when you cannot control your emotions you are called a lunatic. The stars help us navigate through darkness, even when there is no moon. According to Hindu scriptures or Vedas, the highest deva is Indra, that has a lightning rod as a weapon. Doesn't he sound like Zeus? Indra Deva's name also loosely translates to one having controlled all his senses and desires. There are 3 more deities that are even higher. First one is Brahma the creator, all knowledgeable, who is also married to Saraswati, who is symbolized as knowledge. He has knowledge of all 4 Vedas, which makes him wise and all-knowing. That is why he is represented as having 4 heads. He sits on the throne of lotus flower. Second one is Lord Vishnu, the operator leader and consort of Lakshmi, who is a symbol of prosperity and material gain. The word Lakshmi has a deeper meaning, that is, to perceive, observe, know and understand, and goal, aim, objective respectively. These roots give Lakshmi the symbolism. Know and understand your goal. He has Garuda, the human eagle, to serve him on earth. Last is Shiva Sankara, the destroyer of his world, the first monk, the blessed one, the timeless and eternal, consort of Parvati, who is a symbol of power. Let's try to understand Vishnu. The word Vishnu comes from Rig Veda, which means the calmest sun. Have you ever been to famous Khajuraho temples? It's a group of temples but famous for its sculptures on its walls, which seem a bit odd and provocative in general, but even more so on a temple. Abe replied, "Oh yes, that was one of the first destinations I went to when I visited India. The artwork there is very interesting, especially for students of history like me. I have been teaching it in my class for years and never got a chance to visit it. But it does feel strange to see such provocative Kama Sutra poses on a temple. That would be considered sacrilege in today's times if someone even floats such an idea." Well, it's not just that, there are other random sculptures like demons, gods depictions or regular people getting ready, and even wars on the same temple walls. It's really fascinating, you should really check it out. Avatar nodded in agreement. Baba said, in earlier times there were ashrams where many people used to go to take basic knowledge and a few would even take higher knowledge. But this was not possible for everyone. So the kings would build temples, and have a learned scholar for its upkeep, so that all people would gather to quench their thirst for knowledge in the form of stories. This is one of the few unique temples, where even its walls tell a story. When you are outside the temple you will see all kinds of things as you mentioned, some good like gods and saints, some that seem normal daily routines like women getting ready, dancing, people playing music, and there are not so good things like wars, demons that eat so much that they eat themselves, and Kama Sutra sculptures too. But when you enter inside you will see a flower on the ceiling that showers holy water on you. Once you bathe in it and move to the inner chamber you will only see the good things on the inner walls like gods in heaven. When you enter the final chamber, the sanctum sanctorum of the temple, you will find only Vishnu in his full glory. This represents your journey towards God. Both Avatar and Abe were fascinated to find Baba's perspective on this. It also struck Abe that the temple had sculptures of 10 forms of Vishnu that Baba mentioned. Baba replied, "For that you will have to know the 2 paths before you, path of the sun, and the path of the moon. The path of the sun is that of the material world. It's to be a leader, a king, well not just a king but a benevolent king. The path of the moon is that of the spiritual world. It's to be able to control all your emotions and desires. Both require you to fully conquer yourself and to be unfazed by anything." This was represented in different ways by different civilizations of different times. Some said it was the path of the tiger, and the path of the deer, while some as path of eagle and the owl. Later it was represented as bull and the cow, path of the sword and path of the cross. There are many such symbols used in ancient times to represent different things. One such auspicious symbol is swastika. Abe jumped in his place. "Whoa! Let me stop you right there, Baba, you are about to start a really touchy subject." Baba stopped as he didn't want to make Abe uncomfortable. But Avatar wanted to hear what he had to say about it. Baba continued. Swastika is a symbol of expansion. You know how it's drawn, right? It starts with a point in the middle representing you, and 4 points on 4 sides representing the pillars of knowledge. Knowledge of righteousness, roles and responsibilities, knowledge of wealth, knowledge of desires, and knowledge of liberation. After this knowledge you sustainably expand in all 4 directions. Abe replied, I see now. If you notice, Nazi symbol didn't have the pillars of knowledge, and hence it strayed into doing vile things that eventually lead to its downfall. Expansion without constraint or principles isn't sustainable, and leads to destruction eventually. Baba came back to the topic. To select that path, you will have to know yourself first, or you must take help from somebody, a mentor who has already done it. They will guide you based on how you are physically and mentally. Whichever path you choose, you will have to conquer yourself to be successful. All your actions are based on the decisions you take, which are dependent on your emotional state. It is said that your soul is riding a bicycle with the right pedal as your body, and left pedal as your mind. Both are connected to each other. As you move, one other will automatically start moving as well. It's like when you are happy from the inside, you will notice there will be a smile on your face. When you take a deep breath, you feel calmer. So the goal is to avoid negative emotions such as anger, jealousy, greed, fear, and sadness, while trying to strive for balanced joy, love, gratitude, peace, and happiness. This is only possible if you become selfless, or else your ego will make you think about yourself, which will eventually come to drag you back to negativity. Avatar said, "All this is fine. Even we as doctors endorse the body-mind connection to our patients. And yes, negative emotions are generally bad for health as it increases cortisol levels, heart rate, blood pressure. In the ancient times it was necessary as we needed our flight or fight response, but in this day and age, our mind gets confused about what's real danger." But Abe jumped in to say, "Well, if I don't experience half the emotions, how is it living to the fullest?" Baba replied, "What is your goal in life?" Abe replied, quote, "It is to be able to collect enough savings to retire early, and spend more time with my family. My kid is growing so fast I feel like I'm missing half of his childhood." Avatar: "I want to be the most successful doctor, as I want to save as many people as I can." Baba smiled and what do you get once you achieve your goals? You will get love, satisfaction, and happiness. You noticed your material goal was just a stepping stone to ultimately satisfy your soul with love and happiness. Everybody wants to be ultimately happy. There are 4 ways that can help you find happiness and conquer yourself. First, action. Find happiness in whatever action or work you do. Work like you are doing it for yourself or your loved one, and make yourself a selfless giver. Act without any expectations. This is to be done by everyone. Second, emotions. Finding happiness in love and devotion to God and God's every creation. This is for people who are emotional in nature, who listen to their heart more than their mind. These people are extroverts who are naturally devotional, and also like shaka to be around people. Third is Zacian. Logic. This is for people who are logical in nature, who listen to their minds and are very intelligent. This is to find out that everything is connected and you are not different from this world, and finding happiness in everything good that's going on. 4RTH is meditation. This is when you get away from every distraction and focus on your mind-body connection. When you are able to have this connection of mind, body and soul is when the magic happens. This path is for introverts who can be alone for a long time. All these methods are beautifully explained in Bhagavad Gita and many other religious scriptures. Abe replied, "What you are saying looks easy in theory but not sure if it's possible in real life. This connection. Maybe my son, wife, parents, yes, my friends and relatives, maybe because of our past connections, but how will I have the same connection with a stranger that I don't know?" Baba replied, "Well, in a way you already do it, maybe you don't realize it. I am sure you see sports. When your favorite sports team wins, don't you feel as much happiness as the players after winning, even when you are not the one playing and winning? It's actually just them. It's because you feel you are not different from them. It is the same when you know that you are not different from anyone or anything. You are one with the cosmos." Avatar asked to confirm. "So the trick is when you do anything, think of yourself as one with the world, and when you sit to meditate you cut everything and look inside in silence." You know, this is interesting that the 4 ways you said influence 4 different happiness hormones, so when you do any action or physical activity, hormone called endorphins get released. When you are in love, your body releases oxytocin. When you are excited or achieve something, your body has sense of achievement, and releases dopamine. And interestingly, when you donate or do selfless acts, your body releases serotonin. Once you conquer yourself, you can either choose your path of the sun or path of the moon, that is path of Vishnu, or path of Shiva. They inquired further regarding Vishnu, and Baba obliged. "Have you seen sculptures or photos of Vishnu? It will be easier for me to make you understand." Vishnu generally represents the best form a man can achieve in the material world. To achieve that form, you will need to imbibe all the qualities of Vishnu. Vishnu is generally shown with 4 arms having various tools in each hand. The 4 arms also symbolize twice the effort and work every form of Vishnu does. Each tool has a symbolic importance, as it is with having 4 arms. The top left hand has a conch shell which indicates the beginning of a task and control over your emotions and your breath. In the bottom left hand there is a lotus, that shows you will have to complete this journey, and get the lotus. Now coming to the right side, the top hand has Sudarshan Chakra, a special tool that represents great vision, the most important attribute of a leader. Abe couldn't stop himself and jumped in. Interestingly, Sudarshan Chakra is denoted by a star, exactly like the star of King David. Sorry, please continue. And finally on the bottom right is a mace for defense. But that's not all, he is always depicted sleeping on his right side with his consort goddess Lakshmi at his feet, which is a representation of success and prosperity. He is also accompanied by a huge 7-headed serpent. He is the master of this serpent and is accompanied by him everywhere. He lives at the bottom of the ocean of emotions yet remains unaffected by it. All his actions are for the betterment of society without any expectations in return. And you said something about the path of the moon, Abe said, after Baba had taken a short pause to drink from his cup. Baba continued. You know the story of Genesis, right? Abe replied, of course, in the Bible there are 2 accounts of their creation. God on the 6th day of creation created all the living creatures and, in his own image, man both male and female. God then blessed the couple, told them to be fruitful and multiply and gave them dominion over all other living things. The second one where God or Yahweh created Adam at a time when the earth was still void, forming him from the earth's dust and breathing into his nostrils the breath of life. God then gave Adam the primeval Garden of Eden to tend, but on penalty of death, commanded him not to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, as it would mean him roaming alone and eventually dying. As God wanted them to only eat from the tree of life, another tree in the garden, and rule the world as he does in heaven. Subsequently, so that Adam would not be alone, God created other animals, but, finding these insufficient, put Adam to sleep, took from him a rib or left side. People are divided on this, and created a new companion, Eve. The 2 were persons of innocence until Eve yielded to the temptations of the serpent, and Adam joined her in eating the forbidden fruit, whereupon they both recognized their nakedness, and donned fig leaves as garments. Immediately God recognized their transgression, and proclaimed their punishments of going back to earth. Adam and the snake have a fight where Adam kills the snake but the snake bites him on his heel and both Adam and Eve fall back to earth. Abe continued. Interestingly, Adam denotes man made from earth and Eve represents energy. But what is the symbolism of everything else escapes me. As the same symbols keep repeating in every so many civilizations, even the tree of life is found in Hinduism and Nordic cultures with Odin that sits at the base of the great tree. Or even in Hinduism, it's said a man's true place is at the roots of the tree. I think it's enough for today. Have some rest, we can always continue tomorrow, you need good sleep to heal. Baba said, going back inside his chamber. Avatar realized it was getting dark and he started lighting the fire. Avatar started discussing with Abe. All this is so fascinating, it's like every ancient folklore has some sort of connection. The ancient world was much more interconnected than I thought. Abe replied, that's true, whatever he said has been found in various older civilizations, but I still want to know a few more things, there is something missing. What's that secret source? But don't worry, I am not going anywhere without finding it out. Avatar said, do you know, since when we are stuck in this cave, honestly I have lost track of it. Don't think any help is coming this way. I think we should make a sign for help. Abe replied, what if the help arrives before we know the truth? What truth? These are all stories, even he said there is a symbolic meaning to everything. I think he is telling the truth, but I think he has just lost track of the time he's been here. I think that's a more reasonable explanation based on our experience. But I have to say his philosophy of oneness is not really far from the truth, really. I have found a study where somebody throws plastic on the side of a road which tumbles down in sewage, which eventually goes to the local river that keeps disintegrating into microplastics all along the way until it reaches the ocean and settles in a great garbage patch in the middle of oceans. All the small fishes right from the source river to the garbage patch eat these plastics. These fish are eaten by other larger migratory fishes, and that plastic eventually gets to our plate all over the world. Just one small action poisons so many lives without even realizing it. It's sad really. On my last hiking trip, I saw a goat grazing near me and it suddenly found a plastic wrapper and it started chewing it. Honestly, I thought it would spit it out, but it ate the whole thing. I am sure the person who eats that would not get seriously ill. I felt disgusted at myself that I could not do anything about it. I am thinking of starting a trek that also cleans the trail while at it. I will start giving back more. So yes, I give you that whatever he has said is quite interesting and I too want to know where it ends. If nothing, this trip has made me a better person. Avatar continued after a short pause. You know, just deciding to give back is making me happy inside. I am getting that serotonin hit, I feel it. Next day both were eagerly waiting for Baba, but Baba did not come for a while. Avatar, bored, told Abe he is going for a short walk to stretch his legs. Abe, with nothing to do, also dozed off until he was woken up by both for the next part. Baba said this is a very secret knowledge that many known only as fiction. Only a very few people get to know about which part is fiction, which part is true, and what are the metaphors. Abe got excited and said, enough of this build-up, please tell me everything. Baba smiled. Okay. If you like this content, would request you to please like, share and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the notification. You were discussing the path of the moon, which is governed by Shiva. This is the feminine yin to masculine yang. This is the divine path of liberation. This is the path of the snake. Walking this path is like climbing the highest mountain. To explain this path, you will have to look at the picture of Shiv Shankar. He lives high up in the Mount Kailash of Himalayas. He is depicted as someone that has a bull that serves him. Here bull represents every noble and righteous leader. He has simple clothing of deerskin. He is sitting on a carpet of a killed tiger skin. This represents that Shiva Shankar has chosen and embodied the peaceful path of deer, and ended his material life. He has killed the tiger or the beast within. He also has a snake coiled around his neck. This indicates the life of solitude you live, and the poison you accept of your liberation from the cycle of life and death. He has a third eye that is directed inward. This is to look within, and find your spiritual connection and be one with the universe. He has long coiled hair with a crescent moon on it. The crescent moon is a symbol of love and happiness, as you have shed away all other emotions as the moon sheds most of itself. He also has a trident in his hand along with a damaru instrument. The trident is the source of his power. The two joined drums in the damaru represent the Shiva Shankar and Shakti or energy, and their union. It represents the dual nature of the universe. You know, everything in the universe has its cycles. The only way to break the cycle is by achieving balance. He also has river Ganga stored in his hair which flows out of it. It's said that it is the river flowing in the heavens, which was brought to earth for the betterment of society. Every religion has a concept of holy water in the form of rivers. This is the source of all holy water. Shiva is the final mystical stage that anyone can attain. Shiva literally means the auspicious. The person who attains state of samadhi is called Shankar, meaning giver of peace. This is the state when you enter the realm of angels. Avatar asked. And what about the trident, what does that signify? Also, if the snake determines the last life, then why are we seeing snakes in every ancient civilization? And even with Vishnu, who has a nice material life? Baba was presently surprised that he got there so quickly. For that, we will have to go back a little. Remember, we discussed the story of the Genesis. Do you know how it all started? Ab was quick to reply. In the beginning there was nothing, and God wanted to create the world, so he started by making the heavens and the earth on the first day. Baba stopped him. What was before that? Abba replied, nothing. Baba didn't want to quiz him too much. In the beginning was nothing but the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. This word is not only present in Abrahamic religions but even in Eastern religions. In Sanskrit it is said that Omkar is the sacred sound of the universe. It is also called as Pranav, which means the first word. Even Sikh religion, Omkar is considered as God. It seems all the languages came from this word. To follow the path of the moon you need to be like an owl, that is calm, alone and silent. You must conquer your internal world. And to do that, you must understand who you are, and which of the following ways will help you. 1. Action, performing various rituals and offering good things. If you are not devotional at all and are more inclined towards spirituality, then doing yoga poses is a good way to improve your health, well-being and balance. As I told you, the mind and body are interconnected. Learning to balance your body also forces your mind to work better. These steps create a base for the next steps. 2. Emotions. Channeling your emotions to the devotion of God with all the love. This includes loving all of God's creations. It is to be full of love, which can be expressed by singing, dancing. The goal is to immerse all your senses in love. You can do that in a group or alone, it does not matter. What matters is to fill your soul with divine love using all your senses. Become the grail that houses a soul full of the Holy Spirit of love and happiness. When the Son becomes a Holy Spirit, he gets uplifted towards God. You know, in Sistine Chapel, there is a painting of man and God both extending their hand to each other, but there is a slight distance between the two. This connection is completed when a man is elevated by the Holy Spirit. 3. Mind. Channeling your mind to focus on one thought only. This can be done by repeated chants and hymns. Each hymn had a meter creating vibrations that align all the energy channels in your body. 4. Meditation. Focusing your energy on a fixed point. Doing breathwork or just focusing on your breath helps you detach from the rest of the world. This process is also called tapa, which loosely translates to heat. Dol tapi firin. Menergy achod. Lansishan nakakobul. Have you noticed something? Every step teaches you to focus. What happens if we focus anything like passing water through a smaller tube, or focusing sunlight to a single point with a glass? Its energy increases. Something similar happens with your body as well. All this focus creates energy in our bodies which makes heat. It is this energy that is being represented as Eve in Genesis. It is this energy that's called Kundalini energy. You know what it's represented with? A stick and two snakes. Avatar stopped Baba. Wait a minute, why does it sound like the symbol of medicine? That is the staff of Hermes, a Greek god which represents good health and fertility. Baba continued. Yes, this is the divine power which is represented as various goddesses in Eastern religions, and Eve in the Bible. This power is also represented as the trident, that has 3 blades with the ancient gods, as shown with Lord Shankar. This energy lies dormant in your spine, and when you meditate moves up like 2 coiled snakes along the spine, in which the one on the right is hot in nature like the sun while the one on the left is cool in nature like the moon. These snake-like channels meet on 7 points in our body. When one masters his emotions, that is mind and body connection through meditation, he is able to access his body like never before. He activated his third eye on Shankar's forehead. This is also what's called the Odin's one eye. When you access this eye, something changes in you, like you light a candle. You start seeing things clearly, you become happier, and a giving person. You change as a person. It's like you are born again, not by a human but by this energy with blessings of God or universe, hence we call this energy as mother. The 7 points are special because that's where both the masculine and feminine meets and a balance is achieved. This energy is slowly uplifted along the spine until it reaches the master chakra at the center of your brain, and later goes out through your crown chakra or 7th chakra. That is why there are sayings like to be in the 7th heaven. That is why the temple menorah in Jewish tradition has 7 lights. As these snake-like channels carry your energy upwards, they are represented with wings in some cultures. This energy increases your aura like the feathers of a peacock. This is also represented by lotus, as like the lotus has its roots at the bottom, but it blooms at the top of the water surface. Similarly, 3 chakras in our body are represented by lotus. The bottom chakra, the 3rd chakra near the navel, and the top chakra, which is also represented by the fountain of Ganga on Shiva's head, the end of this quest. It's what you are looking for, my friend. That fountain is the divine fountain of youth. Avatar had to stop him as it was getting too heavy for him. Wait, all these points in our body are where there are maximum nerve endings. These points are the start of an embryo having the most stem cells. The holy water that is sacred in every religion on earth could be the brain waves that are emitted due to the activity of the brain. Seems like you have controlled your brain activity while meditation to emit delta waves that are generally released during deep sleep and body repair. You have found a way to hack your own body and slow down aging. Mind-blowing. The place where you attain enlightenment also becomes auspicious because of your positive vibrations. This place is marked by placing a Shivalinga as a symbol of auspicious event that took place there. This positive energy supports and attracts other seekers to achieve enlightenment there. Hence you will often see places with multiple Shivalingas. That is why Shivlinga is represented a union of feminine and masculine. But it is much more nuanced than that. If you find in Rigveda, the oldest written text known to man, it defines of Shivlinga, it contains 3 sections. The bottom part, that is Brahma's section, that has 4 sides representing 4 pillars of knowledge. The male part has 3 sections. The bottoms with 4 edges that slides in the base. The next part is Vishnu part, where the male part representing the masculine energy has 8 sides that represent 8 qualities a man requires in material world. They are prosperity, fertility, good fortune or luck, good health, knowledge, strength, progeny and power. A female part with 8 sides inside and 4 sides on the outer edge gets attached to this middle part. The top part is Shiva part. It has no rough edges, and it's free from any attachments, or you could also say it is attached to everything. Shiva is depicted as being highest up in the mountains. That's also because mountains have that special energy as you go higher up. This is why many civilizations built vimanas or pyramids as place of worship, or as form of tombs to enable them get to other realm. This is the knowledge of the enlightened. Abe was now on his feet with excitement. My God, I see so many references now. Like in Sri Panchavarnaswamy temple, well, that is a mouthful. There is a wall inscription of Brahma, picks up fruit from a tree which is in a form of a brain, and right beside the tree is a Shivlinga. Me being too dense just could not get what it was. Not just here, even Moses in Hebrew means the one that got out of water of emotions and material world. Also the story of his rod the river and the rock cracking to give water could also be symbolic of this energy. I will be able to decipher so many ancient scripts and hieroglyphs. Thank you for making me enlightened, Baba. Thank you for showing me that I am God. Baba promptly said, no, you are not. Just having this knowledge does not count for anything. You need to walk that path first and come back successfully. Only then you truly become enlightened. You become Buddha. But remember one thing, this knowledge is like a double-edged sword which is very difficult for most minds to handle. Hence it is advised to take help of a guru that has already traversed this path. When you experience heaven, you must also be ready for hell. After you are reborn, you must follow strict rules given by your master, as this energy, if uncontrolled, can harm you. Remember the story of Genesis. There were two trees, the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. The tree of knowledge is just the first step. Your destination is the tree of life. You can only reach the tree of life when you have no greed of heaven and no fear of hell. When you give your everything and have nothing left with you, that is when you become Mahadeva, the greatest giver. The tree of life appears in front of you. Baba suddenly stopped as if he had heard anything but others didn't. Avatar tried to speak but he stopped him. He said, go outside, your help has arrived. Avatar ran outside to check, and there were two cops on snow machines coming to check the help sign Avatar had put outside the cave. By the time they came close to the cave, Abe had also come out. They quickly checked Abe's injuries, and rushed Abe to one of the snow sleds, and asked Avatar to get on one quickly, as they were on their way to another rescue. Avatar ran back to say goodbye to Baba, but there was no one there. He could not go to the inner chamber but heard the cops call and had to return back. Abe asked Avatar after seeing him disappointed. What did he say? Avatar replied, there was no one inside. Surprised, Abe asked, how's that possible? Was he a real angel? If you like this content, would request you to please like, share and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the notification icon.